All right, what's going on, Giants fans? Week 14 offensive line report. These are coming to an end. The season's winding down. It's not as fun. We're obviously coming after a loss and a frustrating loss for the offense. We've touched base on everything. The Giants gave up 8 sacks. The second year in a row they've given up 8 sacks to Arizona. In fact, before I was doing O-line reports last year, I literally did a play-by-play breakdown of each sack. So that's what this video is going to be today. Nobody wants to see how Shane Lemieux, progressed in his left-hand stab. You guys want to see what happened on the sacks. So that's what this video is going to be. We're going to spend some time on all 8 sacks. We're going to talk about if they're coverage sacks or even to show a little bit of the aerial view. So we're going to go through the 8 sacks. So since we're not going to be going play by player like we do most of the time, give you a quick synopsis. Parrott, the not punching, got on the shoulder for the first time. You'll see that. Kevin Zeidler looked very bad. Like, he missed some stunts that the sacks, which we'll get to. He missed a couple more. Fleming was actually not too bad. Gates, I think, has progressed to be the best and most consistent offensive lineman on this group. I really do believe that. He is the best. Like, he's just the most consistent, and he moves guys in the run game. Now, I get the Senators doesn't have a ton of one-on-one matchups in the pass game, so he's helping out. But he does help out. Like, he saves Shane Lemieux a ton. He saves Kevin Zeidler a ton. So we'll go through that. Shane Lemieux, man, it's been basically the same. Some good and bad. Some reps where it's like, come on, man. Like, he gets saved by Gates or whatnot. Andrew Thomas, obviously the 2 sacks, remember, and he had some other bad plays. Teams cannot beat him on the inside now. So what are they going to do? And you'll see this with Golden a little bit. They're going to start going in and countering out to see how far he goes down to protect that inside. Because, teams game plan. Teams change. So I will say about Andrew Thomas as a whole, and we've talked about this on the podcast and probably on this video a little bit, too, is that he's come off 5 really stellar games. 5 really stellar games. So I know this game was bad, but I really don't have any worries about him. I don't. I think he's proven that he has the ability to be really good, and I think he will be. If this happened after the first Eagles game, yeah, I was worried at that point. I wasn't, calling him a bust, but I was worried. But I'm just not worried about him. I think they're going to go back into the lab and work on it. So, not good stuff from the offensive line. There's some coverage sacks in there. The first one I spend 5 minutes on because I'm really pissed off, and then after that we'll go through them a little quicker. Hope you like it. If you do like it, make sure to like and subscribe. Appreciate that. I know this week probably not going to get a bunch of new people because we're all very frustrated coming off a win streak, and now we lost and we're in second place, which sucks. All right, let's get into it. Sack number 1. All right, sack 1. What happened to the New York Giants on sack 1? What happened to him? They left an unblocked Marcus Golden. What was this play? Let's go through what the play was. This play is a max protection. What does that mean, Bobby? What does a max protection mean? Well, it means we're trying to protect as many people as possible. We got 8 people in blocking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 people blocking, 2 guys running routes. What's the purpose of this? To make sure your quarterback is safe, and to let these receivers either beat man coverage, which they do. The throw is there for Slayton. Where Jones wants to go. Or if there's zone, you find the hole in the zone. And the QB's eyes should always be downfield from this one. If you're sitting back there. But it's max protection. I'm not a big analogy guy, but it's like wearing 2 condoms and also using birth control. Just to make sure you can do things the way you want. So, no worries. And he gets creamed. From snap to this is 2.14 seconds. 2.14 seconds from snap to there. The lowest average throw time in the NFL in 2019 was 2.49 seconds by Andy Dalton. This was 2.14 seconds on a play that is designed to give you more time. This is a play that is designed to give you more time. And who is that coming off the edge? That's Marcus Golden. You remember him. 10 sacks for us last year. What is a part reason why he was traded? Because you know what he's never going to do? Drop back into coverage. He's never going to do that. He's not a versatile player. He's a pass rusher. He's a pass rusher and a run stopper on the edge. But he's mainly a pass rusher. That's what he's brought in to do. And on a max protection play, he gets unblocked. He gets unblocked. So I've heard a couple things on this of what this could be, who this could be on. You watch Cam Fleming. They're communicating something. Watch Cam Fleming. He's communicating something. And then you got Levine Toilolo. Him and Caden Smith, they're talking to each other. They are talking to each other. They feel confident in what they're doing. Now, I also heard, I asked somebody, and Dan Duggan asked somebody too, and I went and asked somebody too that, they couldn't say for sure, but they say the running back Gallman should have aborted the play action and then came back here. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. You want to know why? Because we never ran. I've never been in anything or seen a common place where you have 3 tight ends to one side like this. You just don't see that. And then one leaving, one vacating for a 2-man route. I mean, I don't know who this is on. It doesn't make any sense because this guy is coming, and it's not even that that he's going to be rushing the passer. You know that somebody's going to be lined up on the outside of Evan Ingram. You just know it. Like, that somebody will be lined up out there. Unless this Cardinals defense was just totally inept. Somebody's going to line up out there. So, in a perfect world, you would think Zeidler mans up here, Fleming mans up here, Toilolo mans up here, and then you have Caden Smith here on Golden. But some people think it was Gallman. I kind of lean that this might be on Caden Smith, but it is a horrible communication, whoever it was on. 2.14 seconds. And that's just not fair to the dude. That this play is not supposed to be find that, go through your progressions, feel for pressure. This play is supposed to be exactly what he did. It's supposed to be play action, flip your head, find Slayton, rip it. And that's what he did. There's no way that he should be expecting to be hit in 2.14 seconds by an unblocked defender. There's no way. This is the worst sack of the game because it's totally avoidable. And this could have been, not a big play, but a good 15-yard chunk. I mean, look at, and this is the first drive of the game, not the 50-yard line. This could have put them at the opposing 35. And instead, the dude's getting creamed, and Marcus Golden's talking about his revenge tour. I mean, come on, man. Whoever this is on, I don't know. But this sucks. This is a stupid ass rep. You run max protection to make sure this quarterback can snap the ball, snap his head, and snap the throw. And he gets creamed with this hamstring issue. Dude just gets totally creamed for no reason at all. Besides just bad assignments, whether it's Gallman or Caden Smith and Toilolo. Just gets freaking creamed. I know I spent 5 minutes on this, but this is the most frustrating sack of them all because it just doesn't make any sense. That's sack 1. All right, sack 2. Another one on third down. Or this one's the first one on third down. Basically, I'll talk about this more on the Daniel Jones third down video, but I think he should have ripped it here with Slayton. I get there's some really bad timing with these routes because you almost have these two running into each other. And then you have the safety go over the top with Ingram. And you actually see they bring this safety down as kind of like a spy on Jones to run. So I think he might run. He would run with this if he was fully healthy. But it wasn't like wide open to where he could like walk for a first down. Anyways, let's get into the actual protection. So this was a legit coverage sack. I mean, like I said, I'm timing every single one. 5.00 seconds. So 5 seconds flat. I mean, like I said, the fast, that ball should be out. Let's start with what they're doing on the right side. You've got this defensive tackle coming in here. This linebacker looping around to Hernandez. And then they're doing another stunt where this defensive end, Reddick's crashing in and 94 looping around. Center to right tackle do an awesome job on this. I mean, well, let's start with Matt Parrott. Stays vertical in his kick sets like we've talked about last week. As soon as he gets that inside move, powers down. That's beautiful from Matt Parrott. Beautiful. Kevin Zeidler sees it coming. You got Zeidler and Gates working on this defensive tackle. Kevin Zeidler checks. He's got it. Gates passes it off with him. Parrott comes and picks it up. That is beautiful stunt pickup. Beautiful stunt pickup. Let's go Andrew Thomas here with Marcus Golden. Inside move. Powers down. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And then Will Hernandez, who they didn't credit Hernandez giving up the sack. I don't like the way they do that. I get there's coverage sacks, but I think you should always credit the guy who technically gave up the sack, even though it is a total coverage. Hernandez does a good job picking it up. And in fact, Golden and Thomas actually bang 50-45 into having a chance. Now, Hernandez mirrors him down. Like, that's an awesome job. This is the pocket you're looking for on third down. This is the pocket you're looking for on third down. And then 45 gets off him a mirror. So, not great from Hernandez, but overall, like, you're not mad at the offensive line unit for that. So, we are 1 sack, 2 sacks, and you're not mad at the offensive line on any of those, on the first two. All right, sack number 3. This one wasn't a coverage sack, but it sure as hell could have been. Let's keep it simple. Let's look where these guys are when they break their routes. When they break their routes, and he's covered up here, he's got up here. Tate is covered on this. I wish this would have been turned into an out and not an outside curl. I mean, the outside curls, I mean, people don't run that anymore. Slayton's covered down here at the bottom. And then Lewis, who could have been the check down. I mean, by the time he's out running his route, because he was helping in blocking, Jones is getting tackled. And he's even lined up right here. Now let's look at the offensive line. Jones fumbled that one. Let's look at the offensive line. Let's start with the left side. This is bad stunt pickup. I put it more so on Thomas, but also on Hernandez. And we'll talk about this. You want to have your shoulders matched up with his shoulders if you're Hernandez. Now, sometimes for a team that faces the stunts as many times as the Giants, that's what they should be. If we weren't a team that faced a lot of stunts, we shouldn't do that, but we do face a ton of stunts. So because he doesn't have his shoulders lined up with his shoulders, well, look what he's able to do. He's able to get upfield like that. So that's where Hernandez is wrong. Here's where Thomas was wrong, and he's honestly been really good at this year, at recognizing these stunts. As soon as he got that in, he should be powering down. Honestly, if Thomas recognizes it, and I know it's a very split-second thing, but he's been good at it. If at this point he powers down, he's got this taken care of. Now he gets there a little late. He kind of saves it. And powers it down. Like if the right side, which is paired as the reason for this sack, if the right side doesn't do a bad job, Parrott doesn't do a bad job, Jones is right here. Actually, no, he didn't. Sorry. Because of that, let's watch Hernandez. Hernandez goes to pick up the stunt. Lewis puts his shoulder pads into him. And then puts Golden off path. And now he's actually going outside of Thomas. So, now you can't be mad at Lewis for that, but Lewis actually does kind of help out Golden. Because if Hernandez is picking up Golden, if Golden doesn't do that, now Golden is going outside here. So, I put this 80% on Thomas, 20% on Hernandez. Now, let's talk about the right side, who's credited with the sack here. Gates and Zeidler do their thing. Here's with Matt Parrott, and this is where Matt Parrott, what we've talked about, him getting some of the things he needs to work on. Now he's done a good job of his footwork has been better this week and the last week, much better. But what is something else we've talked about with Matt Parrott? He does not punch. He catches. He does not punch, and because of that, you let the defensive end get your hands on him. He has both his hands on his shoulder pads with Parrott leaning like that and is able just to pull, and he's getting around that edge. That is because Matt Parrott does not punch. Because he catches, his feet stop, and he gets around that edge. It's kind of simple as that. If he punches right there, if he does it, it doesn't even need to be a great punch. But if he punches and doesn't catch, look where those hands are. Look where those defensive end hands are. I mean, that's easy. That's child's play. And another sack for the New York Giants. Another fumble for Daniel Jones. All right, sack number 4. This play never had a chance. Between snap and sack, 2.18 seconds. Can't run a play like that. It's just not going to happen. 2.18. I mean, this isn't even a long. It's not even really like a long developing play. You know, there's no safety outlet in it, but this isn't a long developing play in 2.18 seconds. This is brutal. Let's start with it up front. So you got manned here, manned here, manned here, Lewis here, manned here, manned here. So you got 6 for 6. So this linebacker pops out. So Gates is looking over this side for a stunt. You got Dion Lewis with Isaiah Simmons, does a really good job. Now Jones, obviously he's moving out, so Simmons get outside. So what happens here? A simple stunt. This shouldn't happen to Kevin Zeidler, man. This should not happen to Kevin Zeidler. At this point, they've done a good job. Now, yeah, can Parrott come down a little quicker? Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, look, Parrott has his job picked up right at this point. At this point, Parrott has his job. And Big Kev just doesn't trust it. I mean, he had to know that was... I don't know what's going on there with Zeitz. That doesn't happen to... that'll happen to players. But I have not seen Zeitler not pick up a stunt like that. I just haven't seen it happen. I mean, it's not even close. He just doesn't come off. I mean, by the time he comes off, that's where Marcus Golden is. That's where Marcus Golden is. And so what happens on the other side? You got Hernandez and Gates working here. They do their job. And then Thomas, man, this isn't the worst rep in the world for Thomas. But let's see where the ball's marked. Let's see where Thomas starts opening up his hips. At 3 yards. At 3 yards, he starts opening up his hips. That's too early, man. He knows that. He's got to get back more vertically more than that. Because here's what happens. Because it doesn't look bad on the surface for Thomas on this. He washes him around the pocket. Because if this stunt doesn't happen, Jones is able to step up, and you never think about that play for Thomas. But we talked about this on the rookie breakdown with Mekhi Becton last week. When you're winning, when you're pushing around the pocket at 7 yards, the difference between 9 yards is a big difference. This back here is a difference. Jones can scramble out even though he's hobbled. And that's why the ultimate goal is to win right here. And to win right here, keep the pocket right here. But he opens up that gate just a little too early. And that corner has been Reddick has totally gotten around that corner at 7 yards. Jones has no pocket to step up into because of the Zeidler not coming off on the stunt. And we have sack number 4. Sack number 4. All right, sack 5. You can hear the pain in my voice. Another one that's actually 2.18 seconds, the second time. Time of the sack. I mean, you got Peterson playing both men with this safety over the top. You got nothing here. This would have been open if he had, another quarter of a second. If the offensive line doesn't screw this play. If he doesn't screw this play, he has the flat right here or gone. Either which way he would have went. What happens up front? You see Gates getting into it a little bit. What happens up front? Let's start again. I mean, it's actually pretty similar to the last one. Let's start again on the right side. I mean, you've got Cam Fleming and Kevin Zeidler. This time it's Fleming instead of Parrott. They are facing another stunt. The exact same stunt. Kevin Zeidler does a great job passing it off to Fleming. Now, Fleming could have came down a little earlier, but he's got that hand out there. I mean, Kevin Zeidler passes that off better than you could have. You just can't pass a stunt off better than Kevin Zeidler. But with that, he comes off way too late. I mean, like I said, he needs to be off at this point. You need to be coming off, sliding those feet and mirroring them. And he doesn't and ends up in a sack. Now let's talk about the other side. Let's just go through Gates and Lemieux here. Good Gates really helps Lemieux out here. Watch this swim from that, and this is a nice swim. Gates meets him with his ribs. Good stuff. Then he acts like a hard ass after, he wants to be tough after the play. If he just got his ass a rib shot. Good stuff there from Gates, helping out his guy Lemieux. Andrew Thomas. What happens here? We talked about being ready for the stunt and how Thomas is ready for it. He thought the stunt was coming here. He committed. That with getting his feet tangled up with Lemieux. I mean, Golden just jukes him on this. Just shows inside and gets outside, which he will see going forward because the opposite has been shut down. The outside inside counter has been shut down by Andrew Thomas. So now it's going to be the exact opposite. They're going to try and really get him to go down inside, cut down inside, and then get out on the edge. He makes him look silly on this. I get he gets his feet tangled up with Lemieux a little bit, but I don't think that really matters. I don't think he's making that play either way, regardless. And so, at how many yards of depth are we when your left tackle is totally turned around? At 3 yards of depth, your left tackle is facing totally backwards. He doesn't get credit with the sack because a bad stunt pickup by Kevin Zeidler. Man, this kind of stuff doesn't happen to Kevin Zeidler. Yeah, I mean, I've watched every snap of the offensive line in the last 2 years. This doesn't happen to Kevin Zeidler, and it happened twice in the matter of 2 drives for the New York Giants. Sack 5. Yep, sack 5. Sack number 6, and I put this one on Daniel Jones. And when I put the time, from snap to, where he's sacked and should have thrown the ball, it's 4.01 seconds. So there's more than enough time. And I don't think it's the coverage. And we'll go through it. Like I said, this isn't about Jones. It's more about the O-line, but let's go through it. You've got Ingram running an out, and there's on a go ball, and the read is this safety. Now, I get that this was his second to last play, and he was clearly banged up, but I don't know. It looks like he's protecting himself, but he should pull the trigger. Because the ball should be being thrown right now, and this safety has made his decision to come down, and you have this receiver up the sideline. This ball should be thrown right here. The read is the safety, and he just doesn't. Like I said, this isn't a Danny Jones video. But he just doesn't pull the trigger. Ends up getting sacked. So let's talk about the O-line, because that's what we're here to talk about anyways. Got a couple stunts that are picked up really well. Let's look at the right. Let's go to the right side first. Zeidler does a good job picking it up. Again, he's a little slow coming off, but Gates is there to help. To the point where now we're like, okay, maybe Gates needs to start helping out with the right side. So Gates, good job on Nick Gates to get there and help with that stunt. Gets it picked up. Good stuff. Good stuff on the right side. Fleming works him around the pocket. Bam. Good job. Good job by the right side. Now let's talk about the left side. Now this is, 4.01 seconds is all the time in the world you have. Lemieux pushes him off. Thomas does a great job coming off. Powering down, picking up 92. Great job by Andrew Thomas. Lemieux lets the guy get in his chest, which isn't good. Like, that's not good. I mean, look, he kind of jacks up Lemieux and throws him to the side. So if there's, this is the one they credited Shane Lemieux a sack on. So he just lets him get right into his chest and jack him up and throw him to the side. But he had 4.01 seconds. And the ball should be coming out. I guess, I don't know. I think he should have thrown that ball. So this is Gates. You can't let him get his hands inside you like that and jack you up and just take you for a ride. I mean, that's easy money for that linebacker. You cannot catch him like that in your chest. That's easy money. Gets thrown to the side. You're giving up a sack. That's easy money right there. And that is sack number 6, the last one of Daniel Jones' day. But wait, there's more with Colt McCoy. All right, sack number 7. Enter Colt McCoy. Let's see where everything's at with the coverages. Everything's locked down besides Slayton, which he's not really looking at. And he does have the safety over here, but Slayton does beat that man coverage. Time from a snap to sack on this was I had at 3.02 seconds or 3.29 because you'll see, as you can see, Colt McCoy does a little shimmy up. So it's the difference of there and there. But still, 3.02 seconds is pretty good. What happens on this one? I mean, it's just kind of just as simple as Cam Fleming gets bull rushed. Reddick just jacks him up. Gets inside and makes his sack. I mean, he doesn't punch. He lets Reddick just get right into his chest. Gets him on skates. McCoy doesn't throw the ball there. Gets the sack. Let's talk about the other guys, see if we clean up anything. I mean, Zeidler's doing his job on 95. You got Gates and Lemieux here doing their job. Let's watch Thomas on this one because Thomas's Golden does get in at the end of this one. I know that punch has been wide, so I'm not going to harp on that, but he does need to get that inside more. He's been playing well, so we haven't talked about it much. But he can't have his hands out wide. They need to be inside. They need to be inside, up around his numbers, and punching out. That wide punch, that's something that he needs to work on in the offseason. Well, he needs to work on in season too. But he wins this rep. I mean, this is a win of a rep. Golden, counters inside, but this I mean, like I said, this is at like 4 seconds right here. And that's only because, McCoy's running because Cam Fleming got bull rushed. So I'm not upset with Andrew Thomas after that rep. That's sack 7. Number 7. Sack number 8. Wow, ain't that great? No, it's not great. It freaking sucks. Sucks. Sack number 8. I couldn't believe I'd be doing this 2 years in a row against Arizona. Again, Arizona's got some players, but I was not expecting. I did this last year. I didn't do the O-line reports last year, but if I could probably go and find it if you would want to DM me. I did a thread. I broke down every single sack from the Arizona game last year. I was not expecting to do 8 clips of that again, but here we freaking are. This one, again, 2.18 seconds. That's the 3rd time we've had that exact number. I almost thought my recording device was broken because I got that number again. If this play doesn't happen, Colt McCoy has a throw right here. Like, he's got stuff. So, it's not coverage on this one. And it's not funny. It's not funny. But left guard through right tackle do their job. I mean, this stunt from 45 is so... I mean, he's coming from the left guard spot all the way to loop around. Like, the ball should probably be out by then. Even though you would wish that they could, Zeidler and Fleming could do this stunt. But the running backs actually cause havoc sometimes. They screw stuff up. Where the running back stops Zeidler from, bouncing over and like, yeah, cool, you could pick Golden on the ground. But because Dion Lewis comes in here, now Cam Fleming can't come and pick it up. Sometimes the running backs screw things up in there. But let's talk about the real culprit in this one. Andrew Thomas, his 2nd sack of the game. And this reared its ugly head, man. We have not seen this Now, Andrew Thomas has not been perfect over the past 5 weeks, but we have not seen this. Mistiming his punch. And I guess that's not as bad of a lean as we were seeing at one point in the season. But look where his head is. Over his knees. Totally leans. Like I said, the lean has been there nowhere near as bad as this the past 5 weeks. So he mistimes his punch. And Reddick's able to just get around that corner. Where are the hips opening up at? At 4 yards. Where, what's the depth that Reddick's getting around the edge? We're starting here. 7 yards. 7 yards is no-go. Bam. 7 yards. 7 yards is where he's getting around the edge. So, now, I will say this, and I said it at the beginning of the video, but I do want to remind you, to finish it off, that I'm not worried about 78. I really am not. Like, this was actually, he had some bad reps in this game, but it did not look as ugly as it did at one point in this season. So I'm not worried about him. And that's something we've actually talked about, maybe not on the O-line report as much, but just on the podcast and stuff with some mailbag questions, is that, hey, Andrew Thomas has put together enough good games in a row that if he gives up a sack or two, you're not worried. So I'm not worried about 78. He definitely has some stuff to work on. He's had some stuff to work on. But I'm sorry. I'm just not worried about him anymore like I was at one point in the season. So that is, he's built some confidence to where he can bounce back from this and not be totally stressed out. So that is sack number 8 and the end of the sacks. I hope we don't play the Cardinals next year because I do not want to do another 8-sack video. All right. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Make sure to do the likey, subscribey thing. Losing sucks. Giving up 8 sacks sucks for these videos. It really does. It's just not fun. It's not fun. All right. Appreciate you guys.